Clinton Loomis, also known as Fear. What?
That was it.
Oh, I think. Okay.
Should we start this over?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, just keep going.
My name's Clinton Loomis, also known as Fear from the Dota community.
Jeff?
Phil.
Nick.
From Valve.
Now that we got that out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So we followed you and HY and Dendy. Could you talk about kind of your relationship with IceFrog? How did that start? Like, how did IceFrog know who you were?
I've known IceFrog for a very long time, actually. I've been playing Dota, original Dota, for as long as it's been a competitive sport, and I've been talking to him about balance changes and stuff like that to fix the game, or just patch the game and whatnot, for years and years and years. I want to say for at least, I've known him for, I want to say 6 to 7 years now.
And for those people that don't know who IceFrog is, he's
the developer of Dota 2.
developer. Okay.
So, yeah, I've known him for 6 years, I want to say, maybe even longer, just talking about, he'd always come to the players and ask for feedback on certain heroes for balancing the game. That's kind of how Dota got really popular. It's just like the developer of the game came to the players to kind of like just make changes to it so the players enjoyed it more, and he's doing it he's still doing it, so.
What would you say has been your biggest contribution to the game?
Like, as far
Fix
as
this.
fixing it, like, I always want to say is, like, I talked to him for at least, like, 3 hours, I want to say around 4 to 5 years ago, about changing Roshan. Before, Roshan gave, like, 800 gold and would spawn once, but we had this discussion. He had an idea of changing Roshan so it spawns once every 10 minutes. Like, if you kill it, it respawns in 10 minutes, and it slowly gets stronger. So, that's one of the things I went over with him, and I think that was probably the biggest contribution I've had to Dota so far. But small balance things, he asks me, like, every now and then, like, shows me a change log. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, and I'll just give him feedback, and he'll make a decision based off, like, I'm assuming all the information he collects from all the players.
Tell us about your early days of Dota. Like, we were showing these guys playing for beer and all that.
Yeah, I'm just playing for beer. Unfortunately, I had nothing like that because back where I lived, I couldn't play on LAN because they're back in Medford, Oregon. I was like the only player I knew that played Dota, so there were no LAN tournaments. So, I don't know, just playing online for fun in house leagues. I played a lot with Europeans, so I played on European servers. It's like a normal thing for me, which is kind of weird to think about because I hate playing on European servers now, but I just got so used to it back then, just playing in house leagues.
What kind of ping were you playing with?
On Europe back then, you would play on someone's actually a player's private host, so you'd be playing from their connection. So it got pretty bad sometimes, but the ping usually around 270 plus. So, yeah.
It's tough to adjust to that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot different too when it's actually a player's host instead of like a server hosting it, because it's a lot slower. So it was, I don't know. Once you only play on that and that alone, it becomes kind of normal. That's just how you know how to play. It was actually pretty funny because I was used to playing on that. Then I went to my first LAN tournament, and I actually kind of sucked because I was used to playing with delay, like actually a full second of delay, and then I had no delay whatsoever. And I was like trying to like attack something, then I'd always click back soon because I'd assume I'd have a second delay after, so I incorporated it into my play. Then I'd actually miss a lot of CS because I'd move back too early because I had low latency. So it kind of screwed me over a little bit on LAN, which is really strange. I think the Australians had the same problem when they go on LAN because they're used to playing with high latency because of the internet down there is really terrible.
What was your first LAN that you went to?
DreamHack in Sweden, and that was in 2007, I think. Yeah, I think it was 2007.
How old are you?
I don't remember. I think 19.
And I remember talking to your mom about you going to that tournament for the first time, and she was really worried.
Yeah, she was really paranoid because it's like I don't know. What would you do if like your kid is like, oh, we're gonna send him to a foreign country to play video games? Like, what are you supposed to say to that?
Had you left the country before then?
No,
Did you have a passport?
no, I had to get one. So it was pretty crazy. Yeah, I mean, I knew it was pretty legit because there's been plenty of LAN tournaments, and you know, there's research you could look online of people who actually do this stuff. And I was in the the gaming world, so I knew that people do this, and it was probably going to be safe. I couldn't know for sure because I never went, but it seemed like a sure thing, and it turned out being fine.
How many overseas tournaments would you say you've gone to now? Roughly.
15 plus.
After how many years?
I've been traveling around for 6 years, I'd say.
6. Yeah. All right, what are we here?
Medford, Oregon. Yes. Nice shot of the truck.
You recognize that street?
That is a really nice shot. Nick shot that, man.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite shots.
It's just one of my favorites. It's beautiful.
I don't even remember the name right off my list, though.
So what's going on with that house now? So you've now moved out.
Where do I live now?
Yeah, so
I live in San Francisco area. So we have a new gaming house. We moved from Arizona all the way over to the San Francisco area. And it's nice because there's so much more stuff to do down in San Francisco than Phoenix. Phoenix was actually not a big fan. Too hot, nothing to do. San Francisco, there's plenty to do. So it was a good adjustment. We actually get to have more of like a personal life, I guess, in San Francisco than
Nice.
Phoenix. It's a good adjustment.
you don't miss Medford?
I miss the fact that like I know the city so well that I can just navigate myself through it very easily and just find whatever I need to do there. It's just like my hometown, so I'm just comfortable there. So in that aspect, I miss it a little bit. But the fact that there isn't much to do down there at all, and yeah, I'd rather live somewhere else. Honestly, I might go back to Medford when I'm a bit older, but I don't think that's the city for me at like my age. It's just too mellow down there. Not much going on.
Retire there?
Yeah, like I could retire there. That's pretty much the place. A lot of older people are there, so it's a good place to settle down. What's the library?
Yeah, that's actually at his school.
Does he play Dota at the library?
He watches
Yeah.
streams.
Yeah,
I think he plays
Dota
Dota
whenever he can.
whenever he can in the classroom.
Yeah,
No, he's
Nice.
a good student.
yeah, very good student.
A-star student.
That's right.
5-star or whatever it is.
5-star.
5-star student. Whatever.
You know, looking at his setup in his room, the thing that shocked us so much about your setup comparably to Dendy's and HY's is that
Ghetto?
we actually were really surprised that, I mean, of the three, that American would have the least,
Mm-hmm.
technologically ready, rig. Like,
Fancy
you were playing
schmancy rig.
with an old CRT monitor.
Yeah. That's pretty much just because I was like had to move out of my house and just had to make do with whatever I had. So those were some rough times for sure.
Did you ever play against HY in that ESWC?
What team was he on?
He was on
Was it Zenith?
KS. I mean, no,
Was that 2008?
KingSurf.
2008?
No, that was 2011 or 2010.
Oh, I played him in 2008. 2010? Or did you say
That was
11?
2010. in
2010?
Paris.
I was there.
Yeah. Did you guys play?
I don't remember playing them.
Okay.
We could have, but I don't think we did though.
Did you play Denny's team, DTS?
Yes, we beat them there. But yeah, we lost to MYM twice and got knocked out.
Have you played in the Ukraine or Russia? Have you traveled?
No, I haven't. We haven't gone to any Star Ladders or I think it was Asus Cups that were always in Russia as well. But yeah, we have not been participating in any of those. I'd like to go. I think we might sign up for a Star Ladder. I'd like to go to Ukraine. Star Ladder seems pretty cool.
How do you decide your playing schedule and things like that?
There's a lot of factors, but I think the main factors are going to be like since we're from the West Coast, hosting issues because when we play Russian teams, hard to find a good host to play against them. because it's not really fair games either way we do it. So we don't play in too many Russian leagues because of that. So mainly hosting and if the LAN event will be worth it. But since Star Ladder is worth it, it's mainly just a hosting problem for us.
Worth it as in prize pool.
Yeah, prize pool, pretty much. And cost to travel, stuff like that. Ukraine's pretty far away. But he had like a monitor like mine just there. When he was 10.
Were you surprised to find out that the three of you guys had somewhat similar stories as far as, you know, in the beginning of your days playing, you know, the family wasn't particularly supportive of it?
Yeah, that exact scene right there is kind of like mine, where like the power cord, my mom would always just like take the modem power cord and just hide it. So that's just like anyone who grew up playing video games and your parents, like, you know, they don't want you to play that much. They're going to take pieces of the computer away so you can't play. Then eventually you get to the next stage where you actually find replacement parts for like the computer and start plugging those in, I'm sure.
You have backups?
Yeah, backups. For when my mom takes the modem power cord, I'd find a friend who had another one and get a replacement modem cord. It got pretty ridiculous. So that scene actually meant, like, kind of give me a nice flashback of when I was younger too, what my mom would do.
Do you remember where you were August 10th, 2011 when you heard?
When I heard what?
That it was going to be $1 million.
Oh. Was that when it was officially released?
Yeah, that's when all these, Toby's announcement and...
Yeah, I found out before that because he went to the teams personally inviting them before, so...
Yeah, I think the teams knew before.
Yeah, the teams knew before, they just announced it.
How'd you take that?
Skeptical? A little skeptical. I mean, the first time I heard it was from, I think it was Ducky. He was on my team back then. He was like the captain. He was like, it's $1 million tournament, and everyone's like, no way. I mean, we can maybe understand like 50,000. That would be like still really, really high, but $1 million, there's no way. And why would they do that? That makes no sense whatsoever. So I thought it'd be like a 50K tournament maybe. And I was like, it really ended up being $1 million. I was like, wow, that's absolutely insane.
It's getting bigger.
That's just not getting bigger. That's just like blowing the roof off when it first came out. Because I don't remember how much tournaments were back then, but like the highest tournament I recall was like a $40,000 online tournament, and that was like the whole prize pool.
Right. So the winner takes home 15, 20.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is good.
Yeah, it was really good for the time, but like most tournaments, like LAN tournaments, were like 10,000 for first and stuff like that, and it was just like, it's okay, it was good. No one expected it. That's why it was like 50,000. That'd be so much. It was like 5 times what we normally get. Then it just came out to be $1 million. You're like, okay.
So, what did you think of the gamer houses in China? This whole scene that just went by. Surprising or typical?
It's from right now. It's pretty typical, but like back then when none of us really played. In gaming houses, it's becoming more popular now, people playing together, and we have our own gamer house now. It's just, they were just ahead of their time, basically.
I love this shot of you. This is one of my favorite shots, just because you just seem so out of place. This is, how many years ago was that? Do you know where that was? Which tournament?
That was SMM, and that was, let's see, last December, I want to say.
It's 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Last December, I guess I should say, because that's when I first joined EG, and I think that was 2011, was it?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was SMM in Malaysia.
Yep.
So when you guys did play in China that fall, what was your conditions like there?
Terrible. I mean, we just formed together as a team, and we were like, what better way to just start off the year than just go to China for a few months and train. We were actually there for 2 months, I believe, maybe slightly longer, and sometimes we had a good place to stay, but the other times, I think one time we're in Jinan, in China, I'm probably saying that wrong, but like we had this empty apartment They're like building new apartment complexes, and it was like an unfinished apartment, and it was so cold in China at that time of the year. I think it was in December, and it was just freezing cold, and there's no heater in there, nothing. There's no beds in there. Just we had to find mattresses to buy on the street, and then some blankets, and we had to sleep in there, and it was just so cold. It was so hard to fall asleep, and we had to do that for about 3 weeks the time we were there.
Did you have a translator?
Yeah, we did. We did have a translator, luckily, or else we probably all would have died in China.
Never made it back.
But there was this nice spa next to us that we ended up like spending a little more money to stay, but it was nice and warm, and there's actually beds there you can rent out. So once we got too cold, we couldn't spend more than a few nights there at a time. It was just too miserable. And some of the other tournaments we went to, they'd pay for the hotels, so the actual tournaments we went to and not the training was actually good. I remember doing these scenes. Good times.
Yeah.
Nice little stroll to the airport.
Yeah.
And surround sound, the scene is awesome.
Yeah, I haven't
Playing.
heard. I only saw the premiere of the movie so far.
Yeah.
And the audio in there probably wasn't even like a fifth as good as it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So you arrived to Cologne,
Cologne, Germany.
and your team was Online Kingdom. Can you tell us about the first interaction that you had with your team there?
The first interaction with my team. I knew most of them already, except for 1437, I think. I've met them all on LAN before from previous LAN events.
Okay.
So they were just a collective group of players that I've played with or played against before that I thought were good. And we just kind of formed together and just made a team for this tournament, and possibly longer. So yeah, that's pretty much how it began. I just met all of them except for 1437. He was just kind of like new talent, I would say, at that point in time. He was a support player. We brought him in. He was actually quite versatile, but we brought him in and played with him along with, PyCat, Lacoste, and then Come With Me. Those are all like kind of old school players. They've been around for a long time in the Dota community. So yeah, I don't know. I've already met them all before. So the first time we met, I think, was at the hotel room, or just the hotel lobby, and you guys were giving out like jerseys. I believe you gave jerseys out to all the teams, which was pretty cool. I'm sad that you guys stopped doing that, but individual team jerseys was pretty nice.
So you guys hadn't actually all together played. Had you played LAN with any of those guys before on your team?
Had I played LAN with any of them? I'm thinking like on the same team.
Yeah, this is a relatively new team. You're online.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if I played. I don't think so. I don't think I played with any of them on LAN. Actually, yeah, I don't think so. I played against them.
And you guys had the game Dota 2 for how long before the tournament?
I think there was a 2-week period where you could actually sign the NDAs and actually play, but we were slow in getting ours signed, so I think we only played for like maybe a little over a week. So yeah, we had about a little over a week of practice, which was a really hardcore practice, so we played so much to try and get good at it as fast as we could. Yeah, that was actually crazy. Playing like 12, at least 12 to 15 hour days, like every day for a week.
I remember you telling
It's
me
insane.
that you felt pretty confident going into the tournament because you had logged in like the second most hours in Dota 2 before the tournament.
Did I?
Do you remember talking about that?
No, but I don't remember that. I don't think I had the most. Did I have the most hours? I don't even
You
know.
had the second most.
Did I?
And the first most was Dendi.
Is that right?
Was it? Wow, I didn't even know
Yeah.
that. Huh. But yeah, I
Back
always
then,
left
if you
my
left
Dota
your-
open.
If you left your menu on, it would still count it as hours, but
So you might have been the person that played Dota the most. Dendi just left his
I always left mine on too.
computer on. Just
This guy just sits in idle all the time.
Yeah. I leave my computer on all the time.
In
Like,
Dota, just
yeah,
sitting
it
there.
just sits on Dota. Mike has the most hours played that I know of to date.
how many does he have now?
I don't know, but I remember when I had like 3,000,
Uh-huh.
he had 7,000.
oh my god.
And now I have like 8,000 on there, and I don't even want to know how much Mike has. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the statistics on who has the most hours, but like it counts. Maybe it only did back then from what you said, but if you just have your Dota on,
Yeah.
logged on, it just counts the hours. So the people who just never close Dota just accumulate a ridiculous amount of hours.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So you get there, you look at your schedule and who's in your what is it, bracket or group? Thank
Yeah.
you. Tell us about that.
Pretty normal for every tournament. We just look through the we just look at our schedule, look at the bracket. We noticed we had like a lot of Chinese teams, and back in Dota 1, like Chinese teams were just the best, by far the best around, because every tournament they went to since 2010 when they wiped the floor with like teams could only get like 3 or 4 kills against them, couldn't lose a game against them. They just wiped the floor, and ever since then, like in Dota 1, just no Western teams could compete with them. So when we first went up against these Chinese teams, we're like, well, this is probably gonna be really tough, because Chinese teams are known for just being so good at this game, and just the Europeans and Americans just haven't really done anything against them within the last couple of years. So we thought it was gonna be pretty tough. But we knew we had a little bit of advantage with the fact that it was Dota 2.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot, like, for our confidence, because we're like, this is a new game. There's a lot of new features to this game. A lot of mechanics that they have down for Dota 1 don't even really matter so much in Dota 2, because it just changes so much. Or the game just changed a lot, and it's taken them a while to like kind of get it back up to like the same mechanics of, I was actually, I don't know, I'm still in shock that this was $1 million tournament for how like alpha this game was at this time. Nice. Some Gosu gamers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That website used to be the shit for all Dota related stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you and Universe are still on the same team now.
Yeah, he wasn't even like, I don't know, it's kind of funny because he wasn't on the team TI1.
Mm-hmm.
He was our coach. Like, he had to go on vacation he was gonna play for us, but he had to go on vacation that week. We had to train, so we're like, there's no way we can use him. So we took 1437. I forgot no, it was PyCat. We took PyCat.
Yeah, he's
instead
the
of
most
Universe,
recent addition.
because we only had 1 week to play, and Universe was on vacation for that week. There's no way we can use him at this tournament with absolutely no experience in Dota 2. That would have just been disastrous. So we're like, you can be our coach for the tournament, and we split, the prizes with him. So as the 6th man. So it was pretty neat. And then we went on I had him in TI2 as well. He was on my team. Didn't make it to TI3, but he's on my team this year, hoping to go to TI4.
Mm-hmm.
So him and I go back pretty far.
E-home.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about, 2010. That first tournament in ESWC where they just swept the floor. There's never been such a dominating performance in Dota.
Well,
That notebook, that started a lot of controversy in Dota, and that's when people started trying really hard off that one notebook, because no one would ever write down picks, bans, they'd write down timers for Roshan. A lot of like the roots of where competitive gaming is at right now is from, that particular LAN event and what they did.
wow.
Yeah, they paved the way for try-hard Dota.
Incredibly competitive for
Yeah.
sure now. I mean,
Back then, you join the game, you'd pick, and it was like mainly individual skill, but these guys would just like start studying teams, writing down picks, they'd write down timers for Roshan, all this seems pretty basic right now, but like back then that was just like next level. So it was kind of ridiculous to think about these tournaments from so far ago, from so long back.
when you look at the way the game is evolving as far as like the meta and everything else, like if you take some of these teams that are today, and it's impossible to do this, but comparing them to teams back in 2010, and you look at the way that teams are playing, it's evolving really quickly, it seems.
Yeah, but they're still kind of like the same base level of play. Like if you look at the Chinese and how they played back then, is they'd play with the same set of 10 heroes over and over and over again. And if you look how like Alliance plays and stuff like that, they just pick the same basic heroes they know they're good at. So like heroes change, of course, because like patches and whatnot, heroes get better than others. But like one thing that seems to be pretty true is like if you just practice a certain base of heroes and get really good at them, that's probably the best way to just like be consistent and win. Instead of like trying to master too many things at once, there's just too much to take in.
What was the first like set of heroes that you practiced?
For this tournament?
No, just like in general.
Oh, in general. Honestly, I've kind of been like the jack of all trades for a very long time. Only the last couple of years I started like zoning in like specific roles. Like I played carry. Like that was the first time I zoned in on like one particular role was last year at TI2. Was just focusing on playing carry heroes only. Because before I tried playing like a little bit of everything, but the game's gotten so complex and so competitive. You just have to be the best at what you do and just not the best at everything. Because if everyone has a team full of players that are kind of versatile and can play everything, they're not going to beat a team where they have a team of 5 players that just specialize in one area and just be the best as they can be at it. So like that's just what the game has come to. You just have to like specialize if you wanted to be the best, and you just have to have 5 players to do the same exact thing.
And so what role are you playing now?
For my current team, I am playing support. So technically, I would be considered the 4 because I play more of the farm-oriented supports. But I made that adjustment because I am very vocal, and that's another thing. Like I'm trying to do is specialize in being like a leader, and that's very hard to do from other positions than carry. So I kind of have to switch my role up a little bit as well to kind of complement that.
So your captain for this team before was supposed to be Ducky, right? To come to the international.
Yeah, Ducky was the captain of this team.
And how did you replace him?
We just couldn't get a hold of him. Like he was on vacation, and I believe it was like his vacation in sunny beach, Romania or something.
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria?
Yeah.
I forgot where it was a long time ago, but yeah, he was on vacation, and I tried Facebook messaging him all about this, and like he wouldn't respond to me. So I was like, well, okay, I just got to find someone else. So I just found some players to replace him because he knew about this too. He's the one that told me about this tournament, but he went on vacation and we couldn't get a hold of him, so we had to replace him. And then it turns out like he sent me the logs after that he was responding to me, but like his internet there was just so bad, just they wouldn't send. So it's like. There's no hard feelings or anything because it kind of is his fault.
It's like a one-way telephone.
Yeah. He like got my messages, but I wouldn't get any of his. So it was like, it was kind of sad, but yeah, I don't know. So we just had to go without him. Just make some adjustments.
So how many tournaments had you been a captain before and before this one?
How many tournaments or teams?
Maybe just tournaments.
That's so hard to say. Like
a lot or a few?
A lot. Because like in 2008, I was captain of the first Evil Geniuses brand. Back in Dota 1, I've always had like a leadership role in almost all the teams I've played in, nearly at least. I'm just very vocal, and I like to express my opinion, and I like to lead the flow of the game as well. So that's one thing I've noticed. That's just kind of what I like to do as a player. And there's not many players who like doing that, so it's hard to like not do that. Find a team, because like I tried joining a team, and I'm just like, this guy isn't as vocal as I want him to be. He's not like leading the game how I want it. So it's just better if I just do it myself. And that's kind of the reason why I switched to support. This is a cool scene. It's one of my favorites from the film, I think.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Phil shot this. He just went outside and was like, "Hey, let's go outside, get a few shots." And
that
then
seems
he started
to coincide with you and your next friend broke up.
open up his motivation.
Was that Nick who said that, or who said that?
That was me.
That was
Phil,
you who said
yeah.
that? Alright, I forgot.
It's beautiful. These are some of the most beautiful shots.
Yeah. It's one of my personal favorites from the movie,
Yeah.
for sure.
But you guys always hang out, right? Like, after the games, you go back to the hotel, all the players kind of hang out together?
Yeah.
At every LAN?
Pretty much, yeah. After all the games are done, we just hang out. I don't really smoke, so I never go out there and smoke with them, so just hang inside. Sometimes we drink, sometimes we just talk, sometimes we have dinner.
Yeah,
We're all pretty good friends.
Yeah, the level of respect that you guys have for each other. I mean, I think it comes from probably it was a bit obscure, you know. It wasn't a big scene before, but it's becoming much bigger now. But
Right.
you guys, as competitive as it is, you guys really, I mean, I guess you move around a lot, so you do end up on, you know, other people's teams.
Yeah, the thing is as well, these LAN events, when you go there, it's pretty much the same people for the most part. Every once in a while, a new guy will sneak in there. So you hang out with these people long enough, you're just naturally they're going to become your friends because you see them around so much. Eventually, you just start talking to them, and you just find new friends just by going from LAN to LAN. It's pretty much like the same group of players, like I was mentioning. So yeah, eventually, you just build friendships by going to these LAN events over and over again, even if they are from the opposite teams or opponents you have to play.
The Brotherhood of Dota.
Yeah.
So when a new player comes on the scene, is there a hazing period there? No comment.
No comment, man.
Don't want to get any lawsuits.
Yeah. Everyone's welcomed, pretty much, and we're all pretty laid back.
So in a scene like this, you know, Dendy was a pretty accomplished piano player, would you say? Or he trained a lot growing up, right?
I'm not sure.
Only till he was like 12 or something like that.
12.
Yeah.
And you know, we think that it had some connection with him, you know, being able to
Be quick with the
click
keyboard.
on that keyboard. Yeah, like, you know, either through
It would make sense, yeah.
yeah.
Because it's similar
Yeah.
movement with your fingers, and if you train when you're really young to be quick with your fingers,
coordination. And
Yeah.
things like that.
it'll carry through.
How about you? You played a lot of sports growing up. Can you talk about your connection with pro gaming to all the other things that you played competitively growing up?
The only thing I can really take from it that I'm like subconsciously aware of is just the competitiveness. I have always been really competitive when it comes to sports. Yeah, that's the only thing I can consciously think of is like just
Well, the
Just being really
teamwork side of
competitive.
it, like, I mean, I know you play a lot of tennis, which doesn't really involve a lot of team stuff.
I wasn't much of a team player when I played sports, honestly, when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah.
But your
It's
mom,
kind of like a glory hunter, honestly.
your mom did tell us a really interesting story, and we really tried to sneak that into the film because we just love the story. And she said when you were playing basketball as a young kid, and there was one guy on the bench that wanted to play.
Hmm.
And do you want to tell that story?
I don't even remember.
Oh, you don't even remember. Well, you had said that you would rather have him play and have everyone play on the team than just win.
Even though
So-
you guys were close, like, I think you were
Score was
leading or
close,
something
yeah.
at the end of the game, and your mom was replacing your coach because he couldn't make it, and then you told her everyone on the team has to play.
Huh.
Because she was really
Yeah.
debating in her mind.
She wanted to win. You know, she just wanted to be like, no.
Was I still playing though?
Probably, maybe that's why
Yeah.
you were cool.
I
with it.
think
have
for
him
me, it's
sit.
like I don't care who played as long as like I felt like I could carry my whole team.
I
And if like I would want everyone to play as well, like that is kind of fair, but I still want to win.
Yeah.
So if I was still playing, I wouldn't care because like I said, I was kind of a glory hunter in basketball. I always thought I was like I had a lot of confidence in myself.
Yeah.
So I was kind of a ball hog, I guess. So I'd make all the shots and just kind of So I don't remember. I think she made me out to be a little nicer than I really am.
I think you're just more humble than.
What did you think about the choice to kind of connect your home life and the things that you guys have gone through outside of playing Dota into the actual game and playing and things like that, like the on and the off court kind of aspect of the film? What did you think about that? Like we start talking about your dad, we talk about
Mhm.
you getting kicked out of the house and all that.
Right. Like, what do I think it was like done well? Is that what you're asking?
I guess maybe at the time, you know, when we were asking questions, you know,
Oh, at the time.
yeah, we were kind of wondering like, oh, we're getting pretty personal here. I hope he's cool with it. But
I mean,
you were great about it.
I'm fine with it personally, because like asking about my dad and stuff is like, I don't really get too like emotional about it because it happened when I was really young, and that's just how I've learned to bury it. It's just part of my past. I just deal with it. I was so young. There's
Yeah.
not too many emotions attached to it anymore. Like, he left when I was 2. Everyone's like, oh, I'm so sorry. It's like, well, I don't really know life outside of that, so that's just life for me, just not having a dad. So I don't really know what it's like to have the dad or whatever like that. So it's not too emotional for me at all.
So you're okay, kind of openly talking about
Yeah,
it.
I'm
so.
fine with talking about
Yeah.
most things.
Yeah.
I don't have too much to hide.
Is there anything that you want to talk about now? No.
Just putting on his therapist hat.
Therapist. No, I don't really. Nothing I can think of. You'd have to dig for it because, like I said, all these things, I just keep them buried, I guess, and I don't really think about it. So until someone brings it up, I don't really like, oh, I've had this on my chest, because I don't really have anything on my
Gotcha.
chest that I need to let out.
But once we showed the film, you had a pretty positive reaction to, you know, your fans and whatnot
Yeah.
that did see the film, or your friends, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was, from what I got for like feedback, it was really good. Everyone loved it, and they loved the story as well, which was kind of surprising because to me, like I said, it's just me, whatever. It's everyday life, and they're like, oh, that's so cool. I'm like, oh, I don't know, I guess. Just good old monitor. I get so much shit for that monitor, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You gotten rid of that monitor since?
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
You kept that Keytronic though, didn't you?
Keyboard.
It may be back home. I don't know. I didn't bring too much stuff over to San Francisco.
What did you think when, you know, some of these stories that these guys are talking about, you know, that they're telling about you, some of your teammates? Had you heard them say those things to you before?
What stories?
Like how much of a leader and, you know,
Like how you brought them onto the scene.
I mean, not in such like a meaningful and like emotional way, no, but I kind of know that a lot of these players that I've played with, I kind of did. I don't know. I kind of got known for like bringing players into the scene. I guess kind of new players at some stage, but yeah, I didn't know it meant that much to these players at the time. So it was really nice to hear all the positive feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Like even now, I'm still like, I don't know. I just like still bringing in new players. I have a new player on my team right now who's just brand new to the scene that I'm kind of bringing in. It's just kind of my thing, I guess.
Fresh blood.
Yeah, I just like bringing in new players.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that helps the team dynamic? You know, someone that has like maybe it's like a perspective changer, or
I think it
what's
helps,
the
yeah,
motivation?
because like the motivation for me is like I'm pretty dominant when it comes. I like to be vocal.
Yeah.
So when you bring in someone new, they're all ears. And
Gotcha.
That's pretty much all there is to it.
Moldable.
Yeah.
This is my favorite game of TI1. The MUFC game. It's a fantastic game.
This is the one game on LAN that I played. After I played it, I was so disappointed. Like, when I played this game, I felt so bad about how I played individually.
Mm.
And I've, like, that's very, very rare for me because I'm usually really consistent in how I play. But this one game where I played Beastmaster against MUFC, I felt I played so bad. And, yeah.
It didn't seem like it to us.
Yeah, well, to
Gosh,
me...
especially when it counted. I mean, these
I after this game, even though we won money, everyone felt like oh, phew, got that off my chest. You know, at least we gotten the money. But I was just so disappointed, honestly.
You still held your team together after you guys were on the brink of
Oh.
getting eliminated. Like, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, your ancient was down to like a quarter health. It was ridiculous.
It was definitely a stressful game.
Yeah.
Had you ever played a game like that where your ancient was down that low?
That low, I don't know. I've played games before that are like really close, but I don't know if I played one that was this close before.
Yeah, that close, that late.
Yeah,
You know.
and with that much on the line as well.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't know. That was an interesting game, but yeah, all I have to say about it is like it's just one of the few games I've felt on when I played that I was just so disappointed in my own play.
Well, it's better than feeling great about your play and losing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually the worst. I hate players who have that mentality.
Well, I played really well.
Yeah.
That
I
used
don't know
to be-
about you guys.
I'm going to get a
I'm
little
going home.
snapped.
I'm going home with nothing.
That's how a lot of teams fall apart. It's that attitude right there. I don't know about my teammates, but I'm not scared at all. Dindy.
Yeah, exactly.
Speak of the devil. That's a little different.
What did you think about Navi during the first international going in? Did you know they were going to be strong? Or?
Yeah.
You did?
We knew they were going to be strong because when they practiced online, they have this key strategy where they just push very fast, very early with like Chen and all these heroes. There weren't many answers to that style of like gameplay. So we knew they'd, unless someone found like a recipe to like defeating them, that they'd get pretty far. Especially after the group stages when they're just winning games in like 14 minutes. Over and over, so it's like, oh, it's a little scary. While everyone else, you know, the opening game for like TI1 was, I don't remember how
90
long it
minutes,
was, yeah,
yeah.
90 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And then Navi plays 14-minute game. You're like, oh, well, that's scary.
Did it influence your guys' play at all during the first international? Like you wanted to group up as 5 and push more, or
We tried it, but like we were never really that good at it. It didn't fit our play style, so we tried finding strategies where we could defend against it, and it just never worked. So we honestly didn't have an answer for it. We never played Navi, so we never played against that style whatsoever. I think MYM used it as well, but they never... I didn't see them actually use it at the tournament. They practice it a lot, but I didn't see them use that style much at the tournament itself. Which is kind of strange. I think they could have probably placed better if they did, because that's what they were good at. Because they were one of the favorites going into that tournament as well, because in Dota 1, them and Navi were like the two best teams in Dota 1 from the West. And they both had like similar play styles of just push very hard, very early, and win the game quick.
So you're a big fan of horses, right?
No.
you know, I'm actually sad that
Oh, there's my dog.
I'm actually sad.
Actually
that,
died 2 months ago.
Oh, did it really?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, man. That dog's been with you for
He's
what,
old.
11 years?
14.
14.
Man.
He's an old guy.
Immortalized on film, though.
Yeah.
Dendy's dog also passed
Really?
away recently.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dale.
That's my beer there.
poor dogs.
You're not an alcoholic. Those weren't your two
Yeah,
beers.
of course not. I never drink that much beer.
Well, I was gonna say I was sad because we went to your mom's house and we unboxed all those trophies that you had won growing up. I dusted them all off. We had
Doesn't even use
awesome
them.
slider shot.
Mhm.
It was in the movie, just like I don't know, 4 months ago.
And then,
And then psst,
Go
I
on.
don't even know what happened.
You did have a lot of trophies. A lot of
Yeah, we
trophies.
covered that table.
Yep.
It was a beautiful
This
shot.
game was depressing. The most depressing game, obviously, because it knocks us out. But
Mhm.
we had such a good start.
Mhm.
I don't know how we could lose a game like this. We just fell apart. This game, we had like such communication issues. Like, people were just like not feeling good this morning. I remember that. Just like throughout the day, everyone's just like, hardly anyone was talking. The communication just wasn't there that entire morning.
what happened?
I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to point out specifics either of like who was having the issues, but like just yeah, the energy wasn't there that day. It was quite depressing, I guess, because even though like it wasn't there, we had a really good start, and if we would have
Yeah.
just kept up and just been vocal about what we were doing and had good communication, there should have been no reason why we couldn't have won that game. But we made so many mistakes and just energy was so low that day. And that's something I learned through gaming as well. It's like you can't have these days on LAN where you're not feeling it. You don't want to play. You just have to like get over it and just like play your best.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have days where you just you don't feel that good. You don't want to talk, stuff like that. But you just can't do that if you expect to win. You just have to get over it and just fix your problems like before you get on stage.
Now the sad bit.
Just that bit.
Packing your stuff. What's that like?
It's just pretty much all just frustration and disappointment when you're packing, getting ready to like right after you lose a major tournament. It's always like you're just disappointed in yourself. Sometimes it's mainly just in yourself. Sometimes you're disappointed in the team and how people performed if it's really bad, but like I don't know, it's always a really bad feeling. Like as soon as we finish any tournament, and if I just lose a tournament, I like to watch the rest of the tournament, but like it's just everything changes. You don't feel so attached to it or involved anymore once you get knocked out. So it's just really depressing, honestly, when you lose a major tournament.
Do you keep replaying that last match over and over?
No, I try to like. I might watch it one or two times just to like figure out what went wrong, but after that I don't want to really see it anymore. I kind of want to erase it from my memory, so I don't look at it too much more than that, because that just makes things even more depressing.
It still really struck me, though, that later on we talked about some of those matches a couple of months afterwards, and you could recall a lot of specifics. Pretty much everything.
Yeah, well, like, when you play these tournaments that mean a lot to you, like, I'm gonna remember most all the games that meant a lot to me, and, like, what happened in them, and what went wrong, because I review the games. And more than anything, it's just a major part of, like, my Dota career. So I'm just gonna remember, like, all the key moments I had in my career, obviously. It's like most sports players will. If they have a moment in their career, they find, like, a very, very important game, they'll know why they lost it and whatnot, so it's just kind of normal.
A match from a year ago or 6 months ago, you could probably remember some of the...
Yeah, even, like, well, TI1, like,
Yeah.
I can remember pretty much, like, if I just saw, like, the draft, or if the game was an elimination match like that one, I can remember just about, like, everything and why we lost and what went wrong.
So what did you eat for lunch yesterday?
I could actually answer that. It was like...
You have to answer. What did you have?
I don't remember the name of the restaurant. Like, I have the type of food.
But a game 2 years ago,
It was
no
like-
problem.
Din Tai Fung.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Alright.
Got it.
Very nice.
Dumplings and
Fair enough.
fried rice.
Do
you ever-
memory test?
Do you guys ever yell "Nisa"?
No. Oh, actually, yeah, sometimes just to, like, mock. Not necessarily, it's like respect mocking, I guess
Yeah,
you could call it. Because eHome would always do that in 2010. And
Ah.
people just thought it was so ridiculously funny because, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Nice
Western teams like, nice. I was like, what did they just say? That's hilarious.
It's fun to say.
Yeah,
I
I
must
must
admit.
say. So I was like, it's kind of mocking them, but it's like respect mocking, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The sportsmanship is, like Nick was talking about earlier. I mean, it seems like you guys are really good in that sense.
I think so.
Mhm.
Because
I
like,
find it really impressive. You know, I played a lot of competitive sports too, and
yeah.
they're not even, they hold a lot of grudges, or they get really angry at each other, who they're competing against, and you guys seem to really keep it together. And
It'll be interesting to see if like the later generations operate the same way, because we were kind of like an underground community, so to
Yeah.
speak. Most of the players like that still even play competitively today, like grew up playing in like small scale tournaments, and just when the game was much more casual.
Did you play against HY much? He's out
No,
of
not much.
Singapore and the Malaysian scene, so
Yeah, Singaporean scene, right? But no, I didn't play against him much. I lost to him once though in ESWC 2008.
okay.
We played his team. I think
They
he
were
was on the
Zenith.
team that won.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were on the team that won, and that was back like I don't know. It was really strange because like back in 2008, Asians and Europeans and Americans didn't have any interaction. Pretty much, we didn't play each other online at all. Well, we played maybe a little bit online, but that's not really playing because like European to Asians on some American server is just really crappy for both parties. So we didn't play much or at all, like as far as LAN tournaments go. So we played them on LAN, and that's when Asians just rolled through like the West. We got third place, I believe, on MIM at this tournament, and then the two Asian teams that came, no Chinese teams, just like won first and second place, and that was when Asians became like dominant at Dota. Then next year or two, Chinese started playing a bunch, and then they became the dominant force in Dota. And that was kind of funny because after like the last TI, Europeans are now like top 1 and 2 after TI 3.
It's,
So
it's changing so quickly.
It goes back and forth though.
Yeah.
it's like fads, I guess. It always comes back.
Does that have a lot to do with play styles? You know, kind of
So
evolving.
there's a lot of factors. One of the factors could be like at TI2 when the Western teams lost, they're hungry to win after that. They really, really want to win. So they train much harder and start practicing, and they want to win and not get embarrassed again. So there's partly teams are more hungry to win after they lose, which in my theory for this year as well, Chinese are probably embarrassed as well from the last TI. And Chinese don't seem like people that take being embarrassed very well. So I think they're going to come back very hungry to win next year. And they're going to be very strong yet again. It's going to be kind of scary, but it'll be interesting to see how it works out.
Had you ever talked to 7-1, the eHome manager, very much?
Used to. I haven't seen him in a long time because I don't think there's an eHome anymore, but like he's a really cool guy.
Yeah.
He's yeah, he knows pretty good English too, so you can actually speak to him. He's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
These games, these
Yeah, a lot of frustration there at the end for him.
yeah.
During tournaments, are you in the crowd watching the other matches?
In the crowd?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Unless, well, it depends. Like, I remember at TI2 I wasn't watching from the crowd much, but, like, I was actually just sick.
Oh.
I don't know how I got sick, but after, like, a day after we lost or something, I had a flu.
Oh no.
Yeah. Pretty bad timing. And, yeah. I don't know. So, I'm always watching either in the crowd or from, like, a stream. I always like to watch the games. Even if we do lose. But yeah, at TI3 I was watching most of the games from the crowd.
So here we have two teams left.
Yeah.
Were you surprised to see eHome just dominating in the losers bracket?
No, I don't think so. Didn't I make a prediction?
You did.
Yeah.
Your predictions were actually right on.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, you said Navi, Scythe.
You actually picked Navi to win as well.
No, nobody picked Scythe, though, did they?
I don't think I
did you
took
say that?
Scythe. I think
I
I
think-
chose Navi
Oh, you
in grand
just supposed
finals.
to.
Yeah, I think he picked Navi
Finals.
eHome.
I don't remember who I said to win it,
Oh,
honestly.
you thought MYM was going to do pretty well too, and they did.
Oh, yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
They kind of did worse than they should have, but... I thought they were going to get third, I think, instead of Scythe, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, Scythe was a bit of a surprise. But because nobody really knew much about them.
No, not really. Yeah. So no, I wasn't surprised at all then if I predicted it. Because I know eHome had like a lot of practice on Dota 2. They probably
Yeah.
played from what I heard, they played as a team the most out of all teams. They played 12 hours a day together. Whereas we played like maybe 3-4 hours a day together, but 12 hours just pubbing individually.
So are you excited for the future of esports?
Yeah, of course. It's always getting bigger and bigger. So it's really exciting to see how it's going to grow. Probably not going to be a player for too much longer. Maybe 1-2 years at most, at the very most. So like, but I do want to see it keep growing because I enjoy watching it, enjoy being a part of it. So yeah, I'm really excited to see where it's going to go. Especially because like all these kids, playing the game, they're all growing up. Eventually, they're going to have kids, and they grew up doing all this. So this is going to become very popular in the future. Because if you actually have, like, your parents backing you for stuff like this from the get-go, it's going to get extremely popular.
Yeah.
Because it's as big as it is now, and most of the people, like all these kids that were playing when a lot younger, their parents didn't even want them to play, that's for sure. I know that personally, so, like, it's just going to get bigger and bigger. As long as there's a base crowd of people who want to watch these games and support it.
The audience seems to be there.
Yeah, it's definitely
A
getting
lot of
there.
people paying attention, that's
Yep.
for sure.
It's going to be to the point, like, I want it to get to the point pretty soonish where there's no more, like, the online aspect of the game. It's just completely removed. Like, competitive gaming. Like, you can practice online individually and whatnot, but having just only enough LAN tournaments just throughout the year where you only play on LAN, because that's the most important. Everyone wants to watch LAN matches. Online matches, they'll make do because that's all we have, but everyone just wants to watch live matches, see people playing in person together with fair conditions.
Yeah.
I think it's getting there pretty soon. Like,
Yeah, I think it's
there's
getting
like
pretty
4
close.
LAN tournaments in the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's still a ton of online play, but
Right.
there's a lot of LAN tournaments, but the thing is, like, for me, it's just like you can't plan out the full year, and just LAN tournaments just pop up here and there, so
Yeah, that's right.
it's not consistent.
Yeah.
Because if there's a whole list of, like, LAN tournaments throughout the year that you could just schedule, you can be like, alright, cool, we can just play all these LAN tournaments, we don't even need to play online. And
Yeah.
you can just,
And you would
make
know,
a
like,
tournament around that. Yeah.
You could take a break vacation from this
Yeah.
time to this time.
Exactly.
A lot of traveling now.
Yeah, well,
It's kind of like tennis players.
it would be like, sports players, their whole year is, like,
Yeah.
planned out.
Mhm.
So they know when they have to start training really hard, everything's on, like, a fair playing field.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh, well, maybe we didn't do well this tournament because it just kind of popped up and we were due for vacation. So they kind of interfered with their tournament play. So I don't know. It's getting there, but
Yeah.
slow and steady.
Do you feel that the American scene is going to be picking up soon, or is it picking up already? Or
It has been slowly picking up for a while.
Yeah.
There's like the American scene is basically HON players now. Like, as Heroes of Newerth starts dying down, we get more of their pro players, and as we get more of those pro players from Heroes of Newerth, it seems like the transition for Heroes of Newerth pro players to Dota 2 is pretty smooth, because there's a lot of Hero and Newerth players that are professional in that game that switch over to Dota 2 and they become pretty good pretty quick. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of new players coming in from HON, and there's new teams being formed, and a lot of these HON players are just making it onto top Dota teams. Because if I was to think about, I could hardly get 5 good American players in Dota 1 to actually make a team. But now there's like plenty of good players in the American scene to make teams from. And I'm just looking at my team right now. Like, I have decent amount of HON players on my team. Like Fogged, he was a HON player.
Mhm.
MSS, HON player.
Wow.
Yeah, so like all the top teams, I want to say every single team right now that's in America that's actually good and has decent results has a couple HON players in them. So as HON slowly dies out, Dota for the American scene is getting bigger. I guess that goes for Europe as well, but I think S4 was a really known HON player too.
A bunch of the Fnatic guys, weren't they all Han
Yeah,
players?
the whole Fnatic team was Han players. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, it seems the transition from Han to Dota isn't that hard at all.
Mhm.
But yeah, we have enough players to make 3 or 4 good teams right now, which is
Yeah.
every year it seems like we just get one new team in America, which is good.
Yeah.
But the
Yes.
Europeans and stuff, they get at least like 2 to 3 new teams a year.
And there's some big tournaments being hosted this year in America. I mean, well, MLG
MLG, yeah.
is really cool
MLG
to
is
see.
picking up Dota, so yeah, Dota in America is definitely getting bigger for sure. Just hopefully we just don't suck at it as much as we suck at other games.
There seems to be some sponsors kind of popping up too, right? I saw,
Yeah.
wasn't Red Bull one of them?
Yeah,
So
Red Bulls
surprised to
is
see
an
that.
esports.
Papa John's.
Papa John's, there you go. Red Bull, Papa John's.
Yeah, it's getting pretty big. There's a lot of big name corporations getting into the scene.
Mhm.
Dota's definitely getting way bigger, that's for sure.
So what about Korea? Are you guys?
I want to go. I want to go to
Uh-huh.
Korea. Yeah. Can't really confirm anything as to if we're actually gonna go, but it'd be a nice experience.
What about Korean teams? Do you guys predict that they're gonna be?
Well, eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually, like Korea's like one of the best gaming countries in the world.
Mhm.
So, like, they're just really serious and they're really good at what they do, and that's video games. So, like, eventually, there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to be a top contender in Dota, if not the best at Dota.
Best micro skills ever.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. It's just like all games. I heard in like League of Legends as well. There's like some famous interview, some guy saying, "There's no way we're gonna lose to like the Koreans. We're just so far ahead of them." And then the next tournament, less than a year,
Yeah.
they just lose to the Koreans.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
they just catch on really quick, and they're very, very good at video games. So I expect them. I'm not going to underestimate them. That's all the point of my story.
Mhm.
I think in a year, 2 max, they're going to be on the same levels. All the other
That
teams.
quickly?
Yeah, I think
Wow.
so. Because Dota changes pretty quickly, so for me, it always feels like there's just like an incubation period of Dota where like you play one patch, you're not going to be very good at it, but you're going to catch up, you're going to struggle, then the new patch comes out, and you already know all the knowledge from the last patch, and then you can start using that knowledge to like forming your team to make it really good. That's always seemed to how it works. Once you form a team, that patch you start playing on, if it's a brand new team, you're not going to do so good, but if you stick to it and just like practice through it, the next patch you play in, the major patch, you can actually, that's your moment to shine, I guess. Just Dota changes so quickly. It makes it easier for, new teams to actually come up.
Were you watching this match in the crowd?
Which one was this? Is this the grand finals?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you have any predictions?
Trying to remember. No, like I said, I thought they were both going to be in the finals, but I wasn't sure who was going to win, because the reason I predicted this is because I think it was like, I believe that eHome was the only team that could defend against Navi's push strategy, because their coordination and the heroes they picked were very good at defending. Like, if you just look at what they picked these games, like Shaker, Windrunner, Maiden, Tinker, very good heroes to defend pushes.
Yeah.
So I just thought they were just one of the better teams to just match up against Navi.
Mhm.
But I wasn't sure how well they would actually do, honestly. It's quite surprising. Like, they actually took games off Navi playing the same style many other teams did, just doing it that much better than they did it.
Mhm.
And this is where they're talking about, like, I think Dendi playing Enigma,
Yeah.
which is so weird.
Yeah.
He probably hasn't played Enigma since.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a character that you don't play in a tournament?
In the past, yes, because like I said, I was kind of always the jack of all trades, and I'd just play whatever was needed to be played. But
Not with $1 million on the
No.
line?
No, not in like recently. I'd always play a hero, that kind of like fits your role of what you have to do for your team. And this role, Dendi usually played mid, right? And then he just played jungle Enigma that game. I think it was.
Hard lane Enigma.
A hard lane, that's right, hard lane Enigma. And it's like that's just something you don't see anymore. People don't swap up roles like that anymore.
No.
They go from solo mid with their set of heroes and like the space creator just to playing a hard lane Enigma. That's very rare.
When you switched, like, you went to carry for a bit, and then you switched to support. Like,
Which time frame are we talking about?
I guess
Because I've done that
Probably
a couple
about-
times.
probably about the beginning of this year when you switched from carry to support.
Uh-huh. Of the new Dota year, right?
Yeah. Like, what prompted that change, and how did you just start on it? Like, how did you just say, okay, I'm playing support now, you're playing carry, like the Geo or whatever?
It was just pretty easy for me to just make that decision because, like I was mentioning, was the fact that I'm just very vocal and I want to be in a leadership position. So to be able to actually lead your team, like, you can do it from any position, right? But like just to do it like the correct way and feel like you can actually be in control of leading while playing at the same time, it's easiest to do it from a support position because it's less individually based. Like, you don't have to be super individually skilled to play support. It helps. You need to be actually individually skilled, but like a lot of the players that are just really good, really fast, you put them on solo roles. That's just most individually skilled role there is.
Yeah.
And as far as like support, that's more of like a thinking role because you have more time to think and you get to help your teammates like be more aware of what's going on and what they need to do. Just the overall game, you just zoom out from the game a little bit and just make the shot calls. So I think that's just something I want to focus on now, is that kind of role, because a few reasons, but the main reason for me is just I've always been vocal. Second reason is, I'm getting a little older, so I feel like I'm actually slowing down a little bit. Not as fast as I used to. Yeah, I'm a little slower than I used to be, as far as like how fast I am and just mashing the keyboard and stuff like that. Before I wouldn't even think about what I was doing; it just came natural. Now I just kind of have to like think about what I'm doing for a second before I do it. So you slow down a little bit.
You mentioned you doing this for a couple more years and your role changing over this period. Do you see your role changing even more? Do you want to get into coaching eventually, you think, or
It really depends on like what exactly that would entail, like coaching positions. But it's something I could think about. I can't really say right now that's something I want to do for sure, but I would leave it as a possibility. Fluff and stuff here. Infamous.
What's been your favorite venue to play in? There you are, DreamHack.
Yeah.
I like that shot a lot.
I didn't like
Yeah, that's all.
DreamHack. I don't like playing at DreamHack though.
No?
It's loud. It's so obnoxious. You're playing with like the crowd right there, then you have to put on some soundproof headsets while wearing earbuds underneath, and your mic picks up so much background noise. It's loud. It's really hard to play, like in that venue. But my favorite, Medford Tools. Nice. I don't even know where that place is.
You don't know what that is?
No.
Ah.
But anyway, my favorite stage was actually TI1. Like
Huh.
the two booths
No kidding.
facing each other, the blue light. It was dark. I like that a lot.
It's cool.
I thought it had the coolest look to it.
Yeah.
It was kind of dark in there, just glowing like blue as well. It just looked pretty badass, honestly.
So you got on the news.
I'd love that look that you
Yeah.
gave your mom when you looked at her camera.
Sure, you're taking pictures
Yeah,
with a flash on.
she took a picture of her TV.
Yeah.
And no more CRT. Oh, there's the CRT right in the bottom left.
Yeah, my
It's a footrest.
junk file.
Yeah. The door stop. What it's actually meant to be used for.
This is like the biggest shocker of the movie. Oh, they got back together.
We were surprised, right? When we
Yeah, everyone. I think everyone was surprised.
yeah.
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 Like, what? You got back together? Good old HY.
Yeah. Good old Dindy. Dindy on Twitter. Yeah.
He's got a lot more followers than 8,000 now, that's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, he's got 61,000 or something now.
Yeah. Does that include the U.S. and the Chinese and all?
He was
No.
actually looking at his Chinese.
That
one
one was the
right there, but-
Chinese, yeah.
Okay.
But just on Twitter, he has 61,000.
Oh wow.
Wow.
He gets retweeted by the Seahawks.
The Seahawks? Jeez. 61,000. He has like 6 times that I have. I only have like 13K. It's crazy.
Yeah.
After
It's
this,
just-
after this movie comes out, though, man.
Yeah. No, it's he deserves it. He's like been in every TI grand finals.
That's true.
Great personality.
Yeah.
Amazing player. He has like probably 5 to 6 times the following of any other Dota player.
Mhm.
But he doesn't have the age and experience and the wisdom like our friend here, Quentin. Not yet.
You talk to Tony a lot?
A decent amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be nice. I talked to him recently before TI 3. I went back home, hung out with him for a little bit.
Did you tell him he's in the movie? And Pete?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I did. I wonder how he's gonna feel about that when he sees it.
It was hard to get an interview with Pete. He was like,
Yeah, he didn't want to be on
Yeah.
camera.
Mhm.
Oh well. He actually sold that house.
he did.
Yeah. Well, he's heard that he's trying to sell it, one or the other, but he remodeled the whole place, so
So the Fear Cave
it's gone.
in Medford, Oregon
Yeah.
is now officially gone.
Nope.
And that CRT is...
I'm sure it's
The Dan Marino
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
awesome.
So what's next for you? What's kind of happening?
I have, I think, 4 LAN tournaments to participate by the end of the year.
By the end of the year? Wow,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah, it's gonna be
That's
insane.
great.
Yeah, one in Columbus, then there's one in Sweden, Paris, and Poland.
You feeling pretty good about it?
Yeah, I'm really excited because we need the experience. So the more experience we get running up until, all the major tournaments that are coming up, there's going to be some big ones worth, considerable money. So I think there's 150,000 for MLG Anaheim,
Yeah.
which is pretty good. So there's actually tournaments coming out that are worth your while other than the international,
Yeah.
which is good. Very good.
Cool.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. Nice.